Okay.
Welcome everyone on Facebook to our 7th Veteran Community Resource Showcase for Waupaca, Calumet, Outagamie, Winnebago, and Waushara counties. First, I'd like to apologize for being late this evening. We had some technical difficulties, but tonight we'll be bringing you these live events, and we'll be bringing these live events to Pacific Wisconsin counties every month throughout 2021. Please like our Facebook page so you'll receive a notification about each month's event. If you'd like to contact any of our guests tonight, we will post their contact information in the comment section after the show. And now on for the show. First, let me introduce myself. My name is Peter Barecki. I'm the house manager of the R&R House. I'm a U.S. Army vet served from 2010-2013 as active duty Army infantry. I spent 1 year in Afghanistan where I received a Purple Heart. Now I'm happy to announce that the R&R House is open for overnight guests, and if you have any questions or would like to inquire about becoming a guest at the R&R House, please call us at 262-336-9540. Now for our first guest tonight is Jesse Cuff. Jesse Cuff is the CVSO for Waupaca County. Jess, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Hi.
Jess, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Hi, I'm Jesse Cuff. I'm the County Veteran Service Officer for Waupaca, Wisconsin, located in the center of the state next to Portage County. We, like all other County Veteran Service Officers, there are 72 of us, and many of our tribal Veteran Service Officers as well. We stand ready to assist, advise, educate, help veterans in the community connect with benefits and services.
Perfect. Can you tell me a little bit more about Waupaca County?
Sure. Waupaca County is home to about 50,000 citizens. About 4,500 of those are veterans, if you believe what the VA has to say. And we're a nice community who has a lot to offer the citizenry, and a great CVSO office. It's not just me in the office, it's Cindy and Craig as well. Craig's a Navy veteran, and he came to our office just about 2 years ago, and Cindy's been with our office for about 25 years.
Perfect. Well, thanks. What era veterans do you think your office sees the most?
So we see all eras of veterans, but right now I think we mirror the state in that our Vietnam veteran and Vietnam era veteran population is the biggest, and we continue to see that population come out and seek benefits and services, and we just encourage them to continue to do that. And of course, the Wisconsin Veterans Home at King is located here in Waupaca County as well. So I wanted to mention that.
Yeah, perfect. Would you say there's like a era or a demographic of veterans that you guys don't see a lot in your office and would like to try to reach out more to them?
Well, we're reaching out to all veterans, and what we found as well is that sometimes veterans are a little bit fickle and a little bit apprehensive to reach out to for veteran resources and services. So we've gotten on Facebook and social media, so you can check us out. You just have to Google Waupaca Veterans and you're going to find our website. We have a Facebook page and we have a YouTube page. What we're finding out is that family members of veterans actually reach out to us a lot of times, almost first, with an apprehensive veteran. So I guess the demographic that we're looking for is folks who have served in the military, who have never looked at any sort of benefits at all. We want to hear from them and we want to see them. So if you've never gone out there and seen what's available, you're the people we want to talk to, because there's probably more than you know and more than you think. A lot of times folks they don't know what they don't know, and they don't give us an opportunity sometimes until it's either a crisis or it's almost too late, and folks get frustrated. And it's just, we can't guarantee there's going to be benefits out there for you, but we want to work with folks and make sure to give an honest look at their service history, their potential benefit profile, whatever is available to them, and give them a series of options that they can at least look at and see if there's anything available to them. So that's who we're really looking for. Of course, we keep a great relationship with our existing veteran community that's well connected, I guess I should say, in the benefit sphere. So that's who we're looking to work with.
Very good. That was really good what you're talking about, that you don't know what you don't know, because it's very true that some people might not know that they might have benefits, and you don't know that unless you go and try to figure out what you are entitled to and what is available for you.
Yeah, that's one of the things we've really focused on, is putting together what we call a basic benefits brief. And that's really, we get a phone call from a veteran that says, we like these that say, what am I eligible for? What they're often not ready for is the next hour-long conversation that we have, running through all the potential. I mean, there's hundreds of potential benefits out there, and probably 70 different specific benefit line items that we work through very frequently with our entire veteran population. So that's why we like to schedule a nice appointment. We'll schedule it with folks, have them come on in. We'll give them a ton of reading material to take with them, because there's always questions after we meet. And we schedule an initial hour-long appointment to just talk over all of the potential benefits out there and answer questions, and kind of start to build a relationship.
Good, really good to know. What would you say your office's biggest challenge with helping veterans is?
Well, there's many, but one of the biggest ones, and I get this question kind of a lot, is what's the toughest thing to do? Maybe asked in a different way, is what's the toughest aspect of the job? And that's working with the community that we know we can help, but they don't let us. They don't, maybe they're not ready for help yet, or maybe they don't think they've earned it, or maybe they don't think they're a veteran, or maybe they don't think they deserve it. Got to kind of get over all of that. Come to it sooner the better. We really have a philosophy of trying to keep veterans out of crisis. So we would prefer to see a veteran early and go through some of the potential benefits, because it's not always just a veteran benefit, because every veteran is also a citizen of the county. And we work with programs like Aging and Disability Resource Center. We work with, obviously I'm talking to you right now. We work with many community partners, and we build a network of resources that we can refer folks to even outside of the veteran sphere. So we just want to work with folks, and we encourage people to come see what's available before it becomes a crisis, or before it's really super time sensitive.
Yeah, no, I totally understand that. We already touched base on this a little bit, but what are some other different veteran organizations or other organizations in general in your area that you guys do work with, or help each other out?
Yes, I mentioned one already. Wisconsin Veterans Home at King. We keep a fairly substantial relationship with them. I mentioned the Aging and Disability Resource Center on second floor. Economic support on second floor, another key partner in the network. There is a warming shelter in Waupaca County. We used to have a homeless program. We don't have that anymore. There are our Veteran Service Organization network, including the DAVs, the VFWs, the American Legions, all those folks that we maintain contact with. Our friends in the Wisconsin Department of Veterans Affairs, our friends in the SSVF or CVI, Center for Veterans Issues. There's so many. We work with the Green Bay Vet Center to have the mobile vet center counseling here every other Thursday, and right across, adjacent to my office here, we have confidential free counseling for veterans who are either were affected by military sexual trauma, or combat veteran, or meet some other eligibility requirement to be in that program. So there's just so many that we work with. So of course, our Department of Workforce Development, our DVOPs and leavers, you just go on and on.
Well, that's really good to hear, because there are a lot of different organizations out there, especially when it comes to veterans. But sometimes it seems like there's so many where a vet doesn't know which one to go to or where to help, or which one will help them. And it's good when all these different organizations are helping each other, because it helps get everyone into, point them in the right direction, get them set up with the right people. And it's really good when communities can get together like that.
It's like an ocean of potential benefits and different ports and different harbors, and
Yeah.
you need some help navigating those, and that's really a big part of what we do. But boiling it right down to what we do in the Veteran Service Office, at least our take on it, and there's 72 different takes on this, right? So Veteran Service Officers in Wisconsin operate under Wisconsin Statute 45.8 and all of its variants or sub statutes and chapters. But basically, we have a massive mandate, which is help veterans, dependents, and active duty service members in your county. Is it all possible help that you can give them? So it's like, okay, well, there's 72 different CVSOs, and each one of them have a different take on what all possible help means. So our kind of philosophy of rendering assistance for folks is, of course, if I wanted to boil it down into an elevator speech, is CPR, compensation, pension, and referrals. So we keep a referral network, and we want to verify compensation and pension status with you to make sure if either one of those are options for you, that we help you apply for those and get those going, because that can take some time. And it's complicated.
Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, Jess, the last question I have for you today: what is the best way for a veteran to get a hold of you in your office?
So we've tried to make it as easy as possible. If you're a young tech-centered veteran, you can although Facebook isn't, we're working on getting an Instagram. We're working on getting on the gram. We don't have an Instagram page yet, but we're looking at it. But you can find us on Facebook at Waupaca CVSO, where we post content every day, and we try to engage with the community and not only the veteran community, but like I said, the dependent community and the folks out there who are they have a veteran in their life. And when I always go talk to people, I always say, raise your hand if you're a veteran. You've heard that. Raise your hand if you have a close veteran in your life, whether that's a partner or a cousin, relative, something like that. I get a few. And then if you've ever seen a veteran on TV or heard of a veteran, then we get everybody up, right? So everybody knows a veteran. So I always recommend people, even if it's just interesting stuff. You can follow us on Facebook and you're going to see interesting stuff and learn more about the community. So Facebook's a big one, our YouTube channel, our website. Again, we have utilized search engine optimization. If you're into Google and you just Google Waupaca veterans, you're going to either get the Wisconsin Veterans Home at King or you're going to get us, but we're the first hit. So you'll get us, you'll run into our digital media presence. So that's one way. Another way is by phone, 715-258-6475. Extension 1 will get you to Craig for an appointment and some general questions. Option number 2 will get you to Cindy. She's been doing this for 25 years and taught me everything I know about veteran benefits. And then 3 will get you to me, but most of the time I'm talking to folks like you. So I'm a little bit harder to get a hold of that way. You can also hit us on email, all lowercase all together, veterans@co.waupaca.wi.us.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you so much for joining us today and going to questions. We got a lot of good information, and thank you for everything you do for veterans.
Hey, it's our pleasure. Thanks for doing this, and we hope to continue to build the veteran network. That's what we do.
Oh, absolutely.
Thank you so much, Jesse, and thank you for everything you do for veterans. Next, we would like to show you a short video tour of the R&R House. As I mentioned earlier, we are currently available for overnight guests. You can decide to stay at the house by calling 262-336-9540. Also, so everyone knows, we will only be using 2 bedrooms, each one on different levels of the house, and everyone will be required to wear masks and follow safe social distancing practices while in the house.
The R&R House is the first peer-run respite for veterans in the United States. Located in Pewaukee, this 4-bedroom house is in a park-like setting on 1.5 acres and offers a peaceful space for veterans to connect with state-certified veteran peer support and other resources based on their needs. The beautiful open spaces inside and outside of the R&R House create a welcoming feeling of home. A non-threatening, non-clinical environment for veterans to reconnect and facilitate a transition to the next chapter of their lives. All veterans are welcome, regardless of when they served or their discharge status. Services at the house are free of charge. The grant requires the respite to be located in southeastern Wisconsin, but its services are available to all veterans who live anywhere in the state.
Some other things to keep in mind about the R&R House is you'll need to call us yourself. It is strictly self-referral, and the R&R House is always free of charge. You can stay 1 night up to 7 nights at the R&R House, no matter what your discharge or veteran status. To find out more, please call us at 262-336-9540. Next, we'll hear from Greg Britt Natcher. Greg is the CVSO for Calumet County. Thanks for joining us, Greg.
Well, thank you for joining us today, Greg. So my first question for you is, can you tell us and the viewers a little bit about yourself?
Yes, my name is Greg Brittnacher. I'm Calumet County's Veteran Service Officer. I started this position here in August of 2019. Prior to that, I was at a Veteran Benefit Specialist for Winnebago County. So background education-wise, I have my master's in public health with emphasis on health administration and health promotion. Military wise, Air Force veteran, served from 2003 to 2007, stationed primarily in England, and then from 2006 to 2007, forward deployed to Iraq. Then with my education, transitioned to wanted to use it in some way to help veterans. And now here I am doing what I love. So.
Perfect. Well, we're glad you're here, Greg. The next question I got for you is, tell us a little bit about the county that you serve in.
Yeah, so Calumet County, we are a growing county with a diverse veteran population. From few World War II veterans left. Primarily the biggest chunk that I have is Korea, Vietnam, but we're starting as the county continues to grow, so does the OEF, OAF, Gulf War era veterans are starting to trickle in as well. So the overall population of the veteran would be right around like 3,500 veterans. So it's still a rural community for the most part, a rural county, I should say. That is the county as a whole.
Okay, perfect. And then as a CVSO, what are some of the services that you offer veterans in your community?
The services overall, the primary one that we focus on is connecting them with compensation and pension benefits for veterans and the survivors of those veterans. Like I said, our biggest population is our Vietnam veterans with Agent Orange exposure. So the big thing is connecting them with their current benefits, compensation benefits, and those surviving spouses. Then you get the whole gamut besides that. Those are our two big ones. And then obviously getting them connected with VA healthcare, getting them connected with VA home loan, those things, education benefits for their dependents, kind of from anything in between. We help them with financial assistance, with our Veteran Service Commission funds, and then also connecting them with other local resources as well.
Perfect. Definitely a one-stop shop.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Speaking of local resources, what are some local veteran organizations that you guys do partner with?
We do have within the county, we have, 10 American Legions, I believe, one VFW, one DAV. So working with them, depending on where the veteran resides, if there's some unique needs that our office can't do, we partner with those organizations to help fulfill those needs in that way. And they've been great overall. Is it specifically you looking at just veterans or just outside of?
Really any organizations that you guys partner with?
Yeah, so in addition to that, we have another major one is the Evans Detailing and Polishing. It's a local business owner, I should say. They do a golf outing every year to raise funds for Calumet County veterans. So those funds, he manages them with partnership with us. So it's a great partnership, and he helps offset or meet those unique needs that maybe our Veteran Service Commission can't meet. He can fill those gaps. So I'm pretty fortunate to have a business like that to step up and provide additional funds for our veterans that are in need.
Yeah, definitely. That sounds great. It's always good when other people can step up in the community and fill those gaps,
Mhm.
especially where they're needed. And that's wonderful.
Yep.
Yep. What are some different ways you guys try reaching out to veterans?
For us, just with we do our social media, Facebook, we have our webpage. I'm currently trying to redesign that myself to get it updated and more user friendly for our younger veterans. In addition, is just trying to for me personally, getting to the meetings to connect with those veterans, and then veterans just word of mouth within Calumet County. Again, it's an older population, which is reverting back to the older techniques of trying to communicate. But it's continuing to grow, and we're continuing to get more veterans coming in our office. So we're doing something right here, which is good.
That's awesome. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, what would be some challenges you think you guys you see in your face in your county trying to work and help with veterans?
The challenges would just be it's still outreach. I think is always going to be a challenge of the veterans unaware of their benefits and trying to educate them where they feel confident, where they run into another veteran in the supermarket, at least give them my name and phone number to contact us to at least make that referral system. So that's just one of the things I think for me personally, I've been in this position for 2019, and obviously 2020 is a kind of a dumpster fire in that regard. So still getting my name or the name of just veteran benefits and who to contact in our community. And it's going to take time just to establish more relationships with the posts were good, but just establishing maybe with healthcare providers, that's ultimately my long-term goal, and local businesses and stuff to help just as a community, is if we can advocate for veterans as a whole, to refer them to me. That's ultimately the biggest challenge, as veterans being unaware or thinking they know their benefits, but maybe not fully understanding, like I was back before I started this position, thinking I know, but then you get to it and you're like, oh, I didn't know. So.
Well, I'm right there with you. When I got out, I thought I knew stuff, like you said, word of mouth from other vets, whatnot. But once I finally went and saw a CVSO, one, I didn't know what a CVSO was, but when I finally saw one, I was like, man, yeah, nope, I knew nothing.
Right, and that's how when I first started, I was like, I know my VA benefits, and then you like get in there like, no, I don't, not nearly as I should. So I'm glad there's positions in at least with state of Wisconsin, where we have 72 of us and 11 tribes, that we have at least a resource to go to.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. What you guys do is just phenomenal, and it's such a blessing for vets to have that resource.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, the last question I got for you today, Greg, is what is the best way for a veteran to get a hold of you and your office?
By phone, 920-849-1452. Facebook, we're on there with Calumet Veterans. And then also the county website for, if you look, Calumet County Veteran Service Office, and those are our ways. My email, our general email is calumetvets@calumetcounty.org. So that's going to be CALUMET vets VETS at
Thank you so much, Greg. That was some really good information you were able to share with us. Next, we have Calvin Stammer. Calvin is the Region 7 board.
Hello, Calvin. Thanks for joining us today. First, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. So my name's Cal Stammer. I work for the Wisconsin Department of Veteran Affairs in the VORP program. Just under 10 years active duty service prior to doing this, multiple deployments, Iraq and Afghanistan. And yeah, I moved back home, Alaska, Texas, wife, kids, and now I'm back home working for the WDVA, working for the state government, and really enjoying what I'm doing.
Perfect. That sounds good. Yeah, I did one tour in Afghanistan. So
Yeah, I
never
see
made it
that.
to Iraq though. Tell us a little bit about like the area you work in.
Yeah, so I work in Region 7, kind of our central Wisconsin, Outagamie, Waupaca, Winnebago, Waushara, Calumet, and Manitowoc. So it's a really different type of area. I got some areas that are bigger cities, and then I have rural Wisconsin too. So it's really different demographics. It's not just me in the cities, and it's just not me in rural areas. It's a very unique population, and it has a lot of different things going on in it just because of the diverse population and between rural and cities.
Nice. Yeah, that is unique. A lot of the different people have been interviewing, a lot of it's either cities or country, and having that aspect where it's both, that really is unique.
No, absolutely. Yeah, it's a completely different set of challenges, I think, just based off of where you're at and what community you're working with that day.
Yeah, I can see that. What services does your office offer veterans?
Yeah, so in the veteran outreach and recovery program, that's my role, but I do work for the WDVA. So when a veteran or a service provider, a community member gets a hold of me, it's my job just to work with that veteran or the provider or the family member and figure out what services are best for the veteran, right? One of the things is every single veteran is different. Every single person is different. Every single veteran has different qualifications because the word veteran is used and it's such a giant term, right? We
yeah.
have we got people that serve in the reserves. We have people that are still serving in the National Guard and Reserves. We have people coming off of active duty. We have folks that served one day of federal active duty service that got in a Humvee accident or got in a bus accident, and now they're 100% service connected. So it's really our job in the VORP program to figure out, you got to look at that DD 214. You have to sit down with those folks and figure out what services and what programs are going to benefit them the most. And a lot of times, we work with folks that just at National Guard or Reserves, and they don't have all those different resources available. So in the VORP program, it's our job to figure out, well, we might be using more civilian programs and civilian resources to get those folks back on their feet. I mean, it's a lot, and I understand that. One of our other big focuses is mental health services, right? So we have the unique ability to work with those folks and to get those folks around those barriers. I think that's one of the biggest things is we see with veterans and we see with people is we have barriers in our life and they get in the way sometimes. And it's our job to work with those folks, go around those barriers, if you want to put it that way, crash through them, jump over them, whatever we have to do to get those folks back on their feet. That's our job. We do provide intensive case management for folks if they're willing and if they want to do it. There's no timeline to it. So we don't have a timeline in our program whatsoever. A veteran can work with me for years. A veteran can work with me for a couple of months. It's really, really cool. And then us, we do sometimes have that ability to pay for mental health treatment as well. So sometimes, we're working with folks that don't have the ability to pay for treatment for mental health or substance abuse. We can work with those folks, work with providers, and get those folks into treatment and programs to help them get back on their feet as well.
Wow, yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, it's exhausting. Yeah, it's a lot. It's every single day I go into work, I really don't know what's going to happen. My Outlook calendar is my Outlook calendar, but once my phone starts ringing, it could be a really different day. Every day is different.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. What era veteran do you think you guys see the most?
I think really when I first started out this job, I was seeing a lot more of that Vietnam era veterans. I was getting a lot more of those referrals. But kind of as time goes on, we're seeing a lot more of the OIF, OEF veterans popping up, getting help, getting services. Desert Storm era veterans as well. You know, I go through my caseload and go through all my contacts and everybody I talk to. I think it's just such a wide range of veterans and their family members that we talk to. And, you know, like I said before, all those different veterans, they qualify for different services and programs, right? Based off of the eras they served to with pension and all of that stuff. So we have to know, you know, when those folks sit down with us, you know, do they qualify for a pension? How do we get them a pension? You know, all that type of stuff. So yeah, I wouldn't say I have like one, you know, set era of veterans that I work with by any means.
That's good to hear where it's coming from across the spectrum, from all the different areas. Is there any like demographic of veterans you think you guys don't see that often?
You know, when you get out to those rural communities, a lot of times we do see older veterans, right? In those rural communities, just because we know people retire. You know, it's a lot of people's dreams to get out of the cities, get into the country and retire. So in those rural areas, we don't see a lot of the OIF, OEF veterans, and we don't see a lot of that Desert Storm era veterans either. Just because a lot of times they're working, they have families, right? And sometimes they're just not getting the services and programs they need because they're in more of a rural area. And that kind of really goes on to their CVSO, making really good contact with their county veteran service officer. And if they ever pop up in that CVSO office and they have some stuff going on in their lives, the CVSO knows to give us a call for if we're appropriate.
Okay, that's good to know. Would you say there's any other big challenges that your office faced with helping veterans?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things is there's a lot of veterans in the state of Wisconsin, and there's only 11 of the VORP, you know, folks. So there's 11 of us. We cover 72 counties in the state. We're all working really, really hard, doing the best we can every single day. So, you know, we only can be at one place at one time, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So I'm traveling around my 7 counties quite a bit. I'm on the road at least 3 days a week, meeting veterans. And one of the unique things is I go to them. We do have that ability that the veterans don't have to come to us. We can meet them where they're at because a lot of times that's when people feel most comfortable to talk. So yeah, I only can be at one place at one time. Unfortunately, I don't have a time machine and I can't travel, you know, in between all my counties.
Yeah, I understand that. That would be nice. Maybe
It would
get a
be.
DeLorean.
It would be. As long as I hit 88 miles an hour, I'd be good, right?
Yeah, perfect. What are some different ways your offices reach out to veterans in the community?
I mean, I think we do such a great job. When I first started, this entire thing is about building your network, right? It's about building that veteran network that if a veteran pops up in Waupaca, Wisconsin, or if a veteran pops up in Manitowoc, and they go to any of the providers, they show up, they know to like, hey, give this Cal Stammer guy a call. He can help you out. So it's really building that network, I'd say, first of all, of, you know, just all of your community providers, shelters, CVSOs, hospitals, the librarians, right? You know, like going to the library, because we know when people are struggling, they're trying to get back on their feet. You go to the library a lot of times and you're looking for jobs, and it's a safe place to be. It's warm. You know, getting referrals from librarians or bus drivers, police officers, I think is the biggest thing. It's just that network, veterans and veteran providers and resources, even your VFWs, your American Legions, to just like, hey, give this Cal guy a call. You know, I think he might be able to help you out. If he can't help you, like, he'll get you in contact with somebody that can.
Perfect. Well, that's really good. What are some other organizations you guys do work with in the area?
I think I kind of said it like 2 seconds ago. But yeah, I mean, our partnership with our CVSOs is huge. The WDVA relationship and your county veteran service officer relationship, we work hand in hand. We can really try to make those CVSO offices a one-stop shop, you know, where the CVSO can handle those benefits and claims and all of that. And then we can come in and kind of provide those other services and get those veterans connected to all the other resources. I think I probably talked to probably like 25 different providers and like every couple days it feels like, especially that relationship with the VA as well. You know, getting those folks, you know, like the VA can be very confusing, especially with community care. You got me?
Yeah.
Okay, I kind of froze up. Yeah, especially with like with that community care and all these different things that happen in the VA. You know, getting those folks a social worker, an OIF, OEF coordinator, or somebody like that can help them on that VA side is a really good relationship as well. But yeah, the VFW post, your American Legions, all the other veteran organizations is a huge relationship too. Because sometimes they have that ability, you know, you got a veteran that needs to move and they're handicapped, they're in a wheelchair, they don't have anybody. We got to get some help in the community, right? And a lot of times those posts will bend over backwards and just really help folks out too. So
Perfect. Well, the last question I got for you is, what's the best way for a veteran to get a hold of you or your office?
yeah, absolutely. So I think the best way to get a hold of me is just give me a call. It's the simplest thing. Give me a call. My phone number is listed on the VORT map and on the WDVA website. And a lot of times if I can't answer the veteran question, or, you know, I'm going to get you in contact who can help you. And I'm not going to say I know everything about the veteran world by any means, but if I don't know it, we'll get you working with some folks that can. And then if it's somebody else around the state too, just get on our website, look at the VORT map, and get a hold of the folks in your region.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for being here today. You gave a lot of great information. And yeah, thank you so much.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Cal. We really appreciate everything that you were able to provide with us and everyone that's feeling. I would like to let everyone know that the R&R House has a 24/7 non-crisis warm line. Any Wisconsin veteran can call to speak to a veteran peer supporter, day or night. Please call 262-336-9540. Next, I'd like to introduce Jeffrey Bolch. Jeff is the CVSO for Winnebago County.
Thanks for joining with us today, Jeff. It's a pleasure having you here. First, can you tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Okay, well, I'm an Air Force veteran. I served from 1991 to 2013. I retired from the Air Force as a senior master sergeant. I did everything from aircraft maintenance to recruiting to more supervisorial type positions. So I got a little bit of an experience, or different areas. So
Perfect. So Jeff, tell me a little bit more about the county that you work in.
So Winnebago County we have roughly about a 12,000 veteran population in Winnebago County. It's primarily a mix of rural, and there are cities in Winnebago County, some good sized cities. In fact, we have a bulk of our population at the lower end of the county, and then another bulk of the population at the higher end of the county, which can be a bit of a challenge because we end up having to have two offices for Winnebago County. So we have our main office in Oshkosh, and then we have a a smaller satellite office with 2 people in our Fox Valley area, the Neenah Menasha area. So we have 2 offices to make it easier for veterans to come in. So targeting both of our big populations of the county. So.
Okay, that's good to know. That makes sense, and that way, you know, people on one end, they still have someplace to go, and place, and they're not driving across the whole county.
Yeah, we find that the people in like the Oshkosh, the southern end, really don't like to travel up to the northern end, and the northern end, they don't like to come down to this area. So it works out pretty good. We've been able to make it work, and you know, realistically, the longest somebody has to travel to get to our office is one of our offices is probably 20 minutes. So
Oh, that's not bad.
no, it's even some of our smaller rural areas, it only takes 20 minutes to get to Oshkosh or 20 minutes to get to the Neenah Menasha office. So we're accessible to all of them. So.
Perfect. That's good to hear. So Jeff, as the CVSO for Winnebago County, what are some of the services your office provides for veterans?
Well, we try to pride ourselves on doing just about everything. We'll help with education benefits, getting somebody enrolled in VA healthcare. If they got a problem with a bill from the VA, we'll help with that. Burial benefits, we do everything from ordering the headstones to sending DD-214s to the funeral honors and etc. I think our primary purpose, what we do the most of, is filing disability claims and pension applications. We have a large amount of assisted living homes and nursing homes in Winnebago County. So pension applications, the pension with aid and attendance applications are a big part of our day-to-day activity too. So between disability and pension applications, that takes up a bulk of our time during the day. But we do help with burial, a little bit of everything. And if it's veteran related, we try and get involved with it. Education, you know, the school certifying officials, they do a lot of that stuff. We just get them going in the right direction, help with some forms. But the education, school certifying officials at the colleges handle a lot of that aspect of it. But everything else, I think we do a really good job of helping people. We're not an office where people come in and we hand them an application and say, hey, go fill this out and bring it on back. We have a very well-staffed office, and we will sit down and help that person fill out line by line the application, usually on our computers. So we're very involved. We're not just a handout an application, come back and bring it to us when you're complete type of office. So very hands-on.
That's good to hear, because I think that's one thing that deters a lot of people and veterans is when they're seeking to go for benefits or whatnot, is just that, well, here's the paperwork, do this or do that. You know, a lot of people get lost or just don't want to deal with that. Really having that hands-on and building that relationship and having someone there, I think that's great and really is beneficial.
Yeah, I think it cuts down on mistakes, and to fix a mistake is sometimes takes a lot longer than just doing it right the first time.
Yep.
So that's we do the applications ourselves, and then go over them and then have them sign, and then we send them in. So usually via our computer systems. So
Perfect. That's great. Would you say there's a specific era of veterans your office sees the most?
oh boy, I really think our biggest is our Vietnam veterans still, believe it or not. We rarely see Korean War veterans and World War II veterans in our office. If we do, it's typically a family member and we're working on a pension application because they're in an assisted living home or a nursing home, or we're helping with burial benefits. The biggest amount of veterans that come in are from the Vietnam era. Most definitely.
Okay, perfect. Do you think there's a specific demographic of veterans that your office doesn't see that often?
I would really like to see more of the Iraq and Afghanistan veterans. They're a tough, I don't want to say a tough group to work with, but it's difficult to get them into the office, just because their work, they come home, they get a job, they're going to school, they have families, they got a very hectic life. And sometimes they put this stuff to the back burner. Those are the hardest ones to reach, where it seems like the Vietnam era guys, they're for the most part, they're retired now and they have a lot more free time, and now they start investigating their benefits and et cetera. So it's, if I could get one group in more, I would like to see the Iraq and Afghanistan veterans come into the office, because I know they're out there. It's just a matter of getting them to break free from work or their families and come on in and work with us for a little bit. So.
Good. That actually kind of leads to my next question is, what are some different ways you guys try to reach out to veterans?
We try to hit up as many outreach events as we can. We're pretty active with our newsletters and Facebook, and but I'm being honest, we can set up at the fairs and the air shows and stuff like that, but it's still not enough. We're not capturing the Iraqi and Afghanistan veterans, just because a lot of them are working full-time jobs and families. We do our best to do as much outreach as possible, but it's tough.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I can see that. What would you say that's probably one of your biggest challenges you guys are facing right now with helping veterans, is kind of reaching out to, like OEF, Afghanistan, Iraq, like newer veterans? Or
Correct. I wish that when they go through TAP, that transition assistance program, that it would be stressed. Like this is a pipe dream, but it would be stressed that if they know where this veteran's going, they have, if they knew a veteran was coming back to Winnebago County, they would have our information, they would have our contact. We'd make contact with them before they even come back home, just so it can be a nice warm handoff. It seems like when they go through TAP training, at least my experience is when you went through TAP training, you went through the transition assistance program, you met all these counselors and they taught you how to do resumes and all this stuff. And then there was no handoff. You're left on your own, and then you're, okay, well, now what do I do? Most of them don't know how to get enrolled in VA healthcare, or what if they're eligible. And I wish there was a warmer handoff between veterans from active duty to their home communities. Because there's so many people that are willing to help. It's a matter of knowing they're there, because the Department of Defense does not provide us with this massive list of all these veterans and their addresses, and did they deploy, did they not deploy, et cetera. So it can be a challenge. So.
Yeah, I can see it, because that's essentially how it was when I got out. Was you went through the quick program, like like you said, building a resume, stuff like that. Then when you get out, it's like, okay, now who do I talk to? And at the time I didn't really work in veteran organizations, obviously. So I didn't know. Someone's like, oh, talk to your CVSO. I go, what's a CVSO? What are you I have no idea. So that would be great if there was a better bridge, where as soon as, even the system staying, hey, when you get out, contact your CVSO in your county, something. I think that would be really beneficial.
Yeah, I really do. And unfortunately, like the Iraq and Afghanistan veterans, they're not coming back and joining the legions and the VFWs and stuff like that. And so I can go to those meetings all day long, and I do go to a lot of them, but they're just not coming to them, because they work all day and they don't want to come and sit in a meeting for 2 hours. So it's hard to capture those guys. There has to be a better way to connect them to their resources here in the counties. So I'm off my soapbox with that now. So.
No, that's fine. I'm up there with you, so I agree 100%. So what are there some different veteran organizations you guys do partner with?
Yeah, we try to actually we're pretty close with all of the ones in the local area, the Wisconsin Department of Veteran Affairs, all of the service organizations we work very well with. We have a monthly meeting that we get all the commanders together and we have discussions about what's a problem, what we can work on together on this or that. So even though what we have a VA clinic in Appleton and they have outreach people that we work with on a regular basis. So I think we're doing well with that. Taking all of our resources and helping together because there are certain benefits in the state versus federal benefits and county benefits. So we do a pretty good job of blending them all together to maximize the benefit per veteran. So the nonprofits are a big help in this area too. We got some great nonprofits in this area. So a little bit of everything. So, you know, if I can't get help for a veteran through one state agency, I'm going to try a nonprofit. I'm going to try the Fed side of the house. So I'm going to do whatever I can to help them.
That's great because, you know, a lot of times too with veterans, it gets a little overwhelming with all the different organizations, nonprofits, and different things out there, and they don't know what's what or who should help with what. And really having, you know, especially CVSOs having connections with these different organizations is, oh, you know, this is who you want to go to. This is, you know, this is what can help you. Or hey, let's give this a shot. You know, really having that built community already really helps.
Yeah, I agree. Having the knowledge of what's available and then being able to connect the veteran to the right resource is huge. So that eliminates a lot of their frustration by calling this place or, you know, filling out this and getting denied. And so we just need to get them into the door. So
yep, step one.
Yep.
Yep, absolutely. Well, Jeff, the last question I got for you today is, what's the best way a veteran can get a hold of you in your office, or offices, I should say, since you got two of them?
You know, we respond to all means. If somebody emails us, we respond to that. I check our Facebook account every day. Obviously, the easiest thing to do is just to give us a phone call, leave a message. We do have a full-time administrative person that answers the phone on a regular, you know, from 8 to 4:30 every day. So there's always somebody here. There's enough of us where, you know, we get back in a timely manner. It may not be if they call like 3 in the afternoon, it might not be until the next morning, but depending on how many calls we get, but we're phone calls, email, Facebook, we check it all regularly on a regular basis. So preferred method is probably the phone.
Perfect. Well, what is the phone number?
It's 920-232-3400. 920-232-3400. That rings to our administrative person's desk. And then she'll route it to Nina or Menasha or, you know, to one of us in the offices here. So who's ever free at the moment. So.
Perfect. Well, Jeff, thank you so much for being here. You gave a lot of great information, and we're really excited for this to reach veterans, especially in your county. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Next, we'd like to introduce you to your Wisconsin Vet Center Veteran Outreach Program Specialist, Ken Corey. Welcome, Ken.
All right. Thanks for joining us, Ken. First, I would like to ask, tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Well, thanks for having me here today. My name is Ken Corey. I'm the Veterans Outreach Program Specialist at the Vet Center, U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs. We do readjustment counseling. I'll get more into that later. But again, my name is Ken Corey. I'm an Air Force veteran. I served in Iraq, Afghanistan, Pakistan. So I spent 3 years over there between the countries. I was in the, like I said, United States Air Force. I did 6.5 years active duty and then 4 in the reserves. Went to school, became student veteran president at UWGB and also at NWTC, graduated there, worked for the Department of Workforce Development for a while, helping veterans get employment, helping them with their resumes, cover letters, doing interviews, all of that. And then I worked up with the Wisconsin Department of Veteran Affairs as I was the more or less a VORP, the Veterans Outreach Recovery Program, where I did that for about 3.5 years with the Wisconsin Department of Veteran Affairs, which was amazing, getting me out there, seeing all the different programs and resources that are available for the veterans, what's available for a veteran and civilians, they're also available for them. So it's a pretty awesome to see, what's available out there. And then now I work here at the Vet Center, where I've been here almost going on a year now. So at the end of the month, I'll be here 1 year, and it's been pretty awesome. So, I'm excited, to continue and work with you guys and, helping out our vets. That's what we're here for, and their family.
Awesome. That sounds great. It's a heck of a resume. So Ken, can you tell us a little bit more about the area that you operate in?
Yeah, so I cover pretty much 21 counties throughout the state of Wisconsin. I got the, well, if you can see the map up here, there it is over here. So I cover pretty much the blue and the green. Those are my babies right there. Okay, so 21 counties. My big thing is just to make sure that we're connected to the stakeholders, the community members, organizations within the communities, everybody and anyone that can help out a veteran or that sees veterans, making sure they know where to go and turn to. And that's my go-to. Like, that's where I need to get them connected to. And if I don't know them, then I'm not doing my job to help out the vets.
Nice. Well, you definitely got a good sized area to cover.
Yes.
What are some of the services that you do offer for veterans?
Yeah, so some of the services, the main services we offer here at the Vet Center, when it comes to, as the veteran, as they come in to see us, is that we provide a counseling service to them. Really, it's a confidential service where we talk with them, we work with them. We have our counselors that are here. We specialize in combat veterans that we see mostly, and then veterans suffering with military sexual trauma, those that have dealt with casualties or flown drones, as well as now those that have been called up, National Guards members or reservists that have been called up in case of civil disturbances or natural disasters, as well as the Coast Guard and drug interdictions. So when those veterans come into us, we want to make sure that we provide the services to them. And 93% of those veterans that come to us, they will say, I'm going to recommend this to my fellow brothers and my sisters, because you know what, this service here is amazing. And you know what, that's what we offer here. And the other thing is not just the counseling services, but if a veteran's lost or trying to figure out where to go, or has any questions, they can talk to me, and then I'll get them connected to whoever it is. It's kind of like, oh, who do you need to talk to? Call Ghostbuster. No, it's like, call Ken. But for that, I get them right to the right people. That's my big thing. If they have any questions about their services, eligibility for something or whatever it is, I can point them in the right direction and steer them to where they need to go. So it's pretty awesome.
Perfect. No, that sounds great. And that's one thing I think is really beneficial is pointing veterans in the right direction of who they should talk to or who they should connect to, because there's so many resources out there, and a lot of vets just don't know where to begin or
Right.
what direction to go. So that's really great.
Mm-hmm.
So again, is there a certain area of veterans you would say you see the most?
Right now it's, we still have our largest population of our veterans are our Vietnam vets. But, again, we can see anybody really here. And I say we see mostly Vietnam vets, but again, it's starting to change now. We're starting to get the younger vets are starting to come in. They're starting to realize that, yes, it's okay to go and talk. It's what we need to do. It's a sign of strength. It's not a sign of weakness of coming in and asking for help or talking to somebody. It's actually strength. And, it's awesome to see our younger vets actually coming in, like myself, I struggled for 3 years when I got out. I didn't go and ask for help because I'm good. I got this. I'm strong. But no, I was struggling. I was pushing my family away, alienating myself. But these guys now are coming in to the vet center and are asking for that help. And it's amazing to see that. And the one thing that we can do, you know, with your house there, R&R, and is that we can go out and actively engage our veterans in the communities and show that we're there for them. You know, being present, being available to them, give them that face to face. It goes a long way, and it shows that you're there and you're ready, and the vets really see that. So it's pretty awesome.
Perfect. Yeah, no, that's great. Is there any sort of like a demographic of veterans you think you guys don't see that often, or you would like to try to reach out more to?
You know, when I look at that, you know, I was thinking at the more of the demographics of the vets that maybe we don't see or something. It's maybe more, you know, we do try to get to every single demographic of our veterans, you know, different ethnicities and cultures and everything else is, you know, and ages, and, you know, you think about it, we try to get in everywhere. And that's where it comes, it's very valuable that we build the relationships within our communities, because when we do build relationships with, so for example, say the Hmong organizations or the people, and when we get to them, then it shows like, oh wow, they're there. Like they didn't even know we existed before, but you know what, reaching out to them, and then they refer people back to us, and we work together. It's pretty awesome to see that we can get out there to them. But again, I don't see per se an organization or, you know, demographic where we're not hitting or missing out on. But, you know, I'm glad I'm in this position because I have a wide array of background of seeing, you know, homelessness, those that are struggling with addictions, and, you know, from every aspect in their life. And I've had to work with so many different providers, and it's so amazing that now I'm in this position, and now I can make sure that that continues. So yeah, I don't know. Hopefully I got your.
Oh no, that's perfect. No, that's great, and you can just see how passionate you are for this job too, which is wonderful. Is there different ways you do try to outreach for, you know, throughout the communities for different veterans?
Yeah, perfect example. Right now, we're doing this.
Yep.
And this is an amazing example of how we need to be out there and in the communities and figuring out what's going on and how we can help out. Now, if there's something happening where there's a veteran event or there's going to be a lot of people, you know what? Call up our office, call 920-435-5650, ask for Ken, or just say, hey, I got an event going on. Would you guys be willing to come out and check it out? And be like, huh, yeah, we'll be there. So like, it's making sure that you can get out into the communities. And if they don't know where to turn to, you know, again, I'll be more than happy to help wherever we can. And, you know, building together is a stronger community. Working together is stronger for our vets. So we've great relationships with our CVSOs, with the VORP, with so many different Center for Veteran Issues. I mean, I'll tell you, there's so many different good organizations out there. And just like you guys are doing a great service for our community and making sure that we're getting all connected. I can't ask for a better organization just like yourself. And you know, it's great that we are able to do this together and work together. So just call, right?
Perfect. Well, again, that actually just leads into my last question, which you already answered. What's the best way for a veteran to get a hold of you?
Yeah, call the Vet Center here in Green Bay, Wisconsin. We again cover those 21 counties up there, all that area. So it's 920-435-5650. Again, 920-435-5650. And again, Ken, you can ask for me or Scott. Scott Katzka is my boss. He's pretty awesome too. He's an Army guy. So
good. I'm an Army guy, so
awesome.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Well, Ken, thanks so much for being here today. You gave some really good information, and I can just tell how passionate you are with trying to help veterans and doing everything you can, and we really appreciate it.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you too, Pete, and thank you for what you guys are doing. And again, if you have any questions or anybody needs to get a hold of me, feel free to call. You know, we're available and we're here, and we want to help people. Yep.
Thank you so much, Ken, and thank you for everything you do for the state of Wisconsin for veterans. Next, we'll hear from David Holtz. David is the CVSO for Outagamie County. Welcome, David.
Great, thanks for joining us, David. Please, if you can, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. My name is David Holst. I am the Outagamie County Veteran Service Officer. And my time in service is kind of dual part, some active duty and then some in the Army National Guard. I actually started out active duty Marine Corps, and I served with HMX-1, which is the Presidential Helicopter Squadron. And we traveled around the world with the president. I was serving during Ronald Reagan and George Bush, and then Bush Quayle presidencies. And then after I got done with that, then I came back to Wisconsin, and I joined the 1st Battalion, 147th Aviation out of Madison. And I went from flying the president around to flying the governor around. And then we ended up a couple of activations. I'm actually an Iraqi war veteran, and we were actually sent over to Iraq during 2003 to do our business. So I have the luxury of active duty and then serving in the Army National Guard too. And I retired from the Army National Guard. So I'm kind of like in that gray area where I don't collect anything until age 60. So I have experience that way. So I think God kind of fine-tuned my career a little bit so I can understand more people, both on active duty and the National Guard. And I understand the 1 weekend a month and 2 weeks in the summer type scenario, which is evolved far more than what it was when I first started. So
Cool. That's a really interesting background. It'd be really interesting flying the president or being with the president and the governor. Sure. There's
yeah, how many people can say they were actually Ronnie's roadies?
Yeah, right. No, that's really cool. That's really unique. Well, David, if you can tell me a little bit more about the county you serve in.
Well, I'm currently the County Veteran Service Officer for Outagamie County. So right now, I was just checking some numbers this morning to get an update on the veteran population here. And it's decreased a little bit. We currently have approximately 10,500 veterans currently in Outagamie County. And there's a wide variety of veterans that we serve here, all from like World War II, all the way to veterans just getting off of active duty and anywhere in between. So we see a pretty good mix of veterans here. And it doesn't matter. We serve all the veterans, any branch, any service, anytime, anywhere. There's benefits, and it's my job to inform the veteran and their families about those benefits. I guess the question is, how do you know what to apply for if you don't even know the benefit exists? So I'm like, okay, well, that's a job, and we need to educate the veterans and their families on these benefits, and that's going to be important.
Yeah, absolutely. And that leads into my next question is, well, what services as a CVSO do you all provide for veterans?
Wow, that's a loaded question. I can sum it up as this. The Outagamie County Veterans Service Office is a one-stop shop for anything veteran related. If you got problems, come on in here, let's talk about them, and then let's find a solution for that problem. And let me give you a couple of examples here. A veteran came in here and he was in a wheelchair and he goes, David, do you know anybody who can help me with a roof repair? And I go, well, that's not exactly VA related. However, I do network with quite a few different groups. I network with about 70 different groups. And that wasn't one of the groups that I normally network with, but I'll call it God's intervention one more time, because shortly after that conversation, I did receive an email from a roofing company looking to repair veteran roofings. So I'm like, what are the odds of that? So I'm like, okay, so now I've got the two together, and the veteran just called me, and we're gonna have somebody from this roofing company come on out and estimate what needs to be done. And the place that's doing the work actually had a commitment for labor and shingles, so it sounds positive already.
Wow.
But we do way more than just compensation and pension here. I mean, homeless veterans, clothing, housing, emergency for gas, food cards. Man, come on in here. If you got problems, I want to know about them.
Well, that's really good to know, and it's really good for the veterans. And you already covered this a little bit, but you're talking about that you work with, or you network with over 70 different organizations. What are some of the different organizations you do work with in your county?
Well, right now, we're pretty fortunate enough to work with a group called the Fox Valley Veterans Council. And that's a group of people that get together and they raise funds to help veterans with emergency purposes. So if I got a veteran that comes in here and they're looking for housing because they're homeless, we can ask Fox Valley Veterans Council to help us. And they could possibly come up with like the first month's rent and security deposit, depending, or maybe your car broke down and you need some help fixing that. They can help with that. Or maybe utility bill, maybe you're behind on the rent, maybe you're behind on the electric bill or the phone bill. There are resources out there. So just come on in here. And Fox Valley Veterans Council is one of the groups that I do work with. And then besides that, there's actually a group out there called the Veterans Roundtable, where there's anybody that's got anything with a veteran focus will come to this meeting. And this is where I really tap into the community resources. Maybe somebody's got financial assistance they can help with. Right now, I'm trying to network with a law firm to provide legal services for like wills and other things like that. That might be value added to the veteran community. So I'm also looking for chiropractors with an IME rating, mental health doctors such as a psychiatrist or a psychologist to help us with the VA claims and render those medical opinions. I mean, it's an endless network of veteran focus that we have going on in this office.
Yeah, it definitely sounds that way. It sounds like you got a good handle on and have some great resources out there.
Yeah, I'll never want for work here.
That's perfect. What are some different ways you guys try reaching out to veterans in your community?
Well, there's several ways we can try to reach out into the community, but we're kind of limited because we're kind of short staffed, but we just hired a couple new people, so it's training them up. But right now we're using like a Facebook page, email, word of mouth has really been good because people got the outstanding customer service and they're like, oh, could you help my dad? Or could you help my friend out? And then the phone is just constantly ringing off the hook. So phone is good, email's good, social media through Facebook is good. Or to the county website here, we actually have a county website for our office. So
Awesome. Well, that's great. What are some challenges you guys might face when it comes to helping veterans in your community?
well, right now, the biggest crunch on the board right now is actually affordable housing. So I meet with a group called the Fox Cities Housing Coalition, and we work to find affordable housing for veterans. And right now, there's just a severe shortage of affordable housing. So I also network with the Veterans Village here in Appleton. It's probably not very well known, but it is currently in the process of getting switched over from Outagamie County Housing Authority to Veterans Village. And Veterans Village is actually a place for nothing but veterans, whether they're homeless or maybe they're looking for an apartment. And it's actually going to transition as the program grows to add on like an assisted living, a nursing home, and then end of life care with hospice. So right now they're actually fundraising over at the Veterans Village towards that goal. So other challenges are misinformation that the veterans get when they're getting out of the service. A lot of the older veterans, oh, nobody ever said nothing to me about that. Or they went to a VA facility and somebody told them there that they don't qualify for any benefits. So then there's also the not enough VA advertising. When's the last time anybody actually saw a VA advertisement about benefits?
Yeah.
Okay, so besides misinformation, there's no information or people being told the wrong stuff. A wrong one would probably be, oh, my friend qualifies for this benefit, I should get that too. Well, that's not necessarily the case. Your benefits are based on your service and nobody else's.
Mhm.
And you're as unique as a snowflake. So you could have identical twins go into the service and serve in the same unit at the same time, doing the same job, and still come out with different benefits. Maybe one got injured, maybe one didn't. Maybe somebody was exposed to some chemical environment and maybe the other one wasn't. But your benefits are based on your service and nobody else's. So that's how the benefits are determined. We look at the DD 214. Where did you go? Well, what did you do? And then let's figure out the benefits. So it's very complex, and we actually develop claims here quite a bit. It's not shuffling paper and then sending it into the VA and see what sticks. It's getting to know the veteran, interviewing them, and then having that discussion with them. I've seen so many times where people just came in here for like a veteran ID on the driver's license. And the next thing you know, they're walking out less than a year later with a 50% service-connected disability rating and a huge retro check. So, I mean, and some veterans that never even filed a claim before, and the only time we're seeing them is their death certificate. And then we're noticing, oh, wow, hey, look, they served during Vietnam era and they had boots on the ground. And then we talk to the spouse, oh, he never said anything about it, or he never filed a claim. And then we're able to prove service-connected death and then get that surviving spouse some benefits. So it's more than just shuffling paper. It's doing the right thing and going that extra mile to make sure that the veterans get all the benefits that they're entitled to, not just some. I don't know any veteran who ever came in here looking for minimum benefits either, just so you know that.
Yeah.
We're going max the entire way, just so you know that.
Well, that's great, and it's so powerful. Always going that extra mile and really getting to know the veteran, and just not, another number or another piece of paperwork. Really getting
Right.
to know who they are, and that's really powerful. That's great work. One of my last questions I got for you is, if a veteran doesn't have a copy of your DD 214, can they come to you to help get a copy of that?
Absolutely. Once again, a one-stop shop. So if I don't have it locally, can I find it on the state site? And if not there, then maybe we could go to national. Do you have it recorded somewhere else? Let's go get that DD 214 because that's the keys to the kingdom, okay? So if you want your benefits, you're gonna need that ticket. Help me help you. Come on in here with that and let's get started. And all the services here are free. So why wouldn't you come in?
Yeah, absolutely. Wow, that's really great. Well, David, the last question I got for you today is, what's the best way for a veteran to get a hold of you in your office?
Well, it depends on how they prefer to communicate. So maybe it's an email, maybe it's telephone, maybe it's over Facebook or an internet connection. However they want to contact us, hey, Google Outagamie County Veteran Service Office. Come on in person. The office is open. You can talk to people face to face. If you feel uncomfortable, maybe talk on the phone. You choose how you want to contact us. But the big thing is contact us and let's do more than just talk about it. Let's do something about it.
Perfect. What is a good contact phone number?
Well, I'll give you the main line, 920-832-5697. That's the main line. Now, if you want to call me direct, that's fine, because I don't hide from people, I seek them out. So if you want the Outagamie County Veteran Service Officer, and my direct line is 920-832-5035. Now you can send me an email, you can call me on the phone, you can come on in person. But the thing is you don't have to see me only to get the same level of customer service. I train the whole staff here to know what I know. There are no secretaries here. Everybody's fully accredited. And if they're not, they're working towards that. So the level of customer service is going to be there for you.
Oh, great. Well, David, thank you so much for being here today. You gave some really good information, and we appreciate so much everything you do for veterans and taking a few minutes of your day to be with us today.
Yep, the best is yet to come. Because when people come to see us, they'll understand why we're striving to be the best in the state, bar none.
Yeah, absolutely.
You got any other questions or anything you want to talk about?
That's all I have. Is there anything else you'd like to bring up or anything else you believe that a veteran who's looking for help should know?
Well, if you're coming off of active duty, my suggestion would be this. Make sure you have a copy of all your official military personnel file records and all your military medical records. Because once you get off of active duty, now you fall into my arena. And when we file these VA claims, that's what they're going to need. And some veterans can't find the records because they didn't copy them on the way out, and then they were supposed to get sent over to the repository, but they never made it over there. So do yourself a favor, and on your exit exam, complain about everything, even if your feelings got hurt, all right? Because that's going to help you when you get out off of active duty, but make sure you get all your records. And then come talk to your county veteran service officer wherever you're at. Now, I realize that 35 states have county veteran service officers and 15 do not. So there's actually federal legislation pending right now to add more county veteran service officers in the United States, but that's, the Congress is going to award that money to the VA, and the VA is going to determine where that needs to be opened up for a new office. So just so you know, that's coming.
Okay, well, that's great to know. Perfect. Yeah, and it's so true with, the more paperwork you have, and I've noticed even when I filed a claim, filed for disability and stuff, is the more paperwork you have, it's just the better, and try to have everything documented.
Right, paper trail, paper trail, paper trail.
Yep.
Lines of duty are very important, especially if you got injured. National Guard folks, the same way. If you're there on a guard drill weekend and you get hurt, hey, do that line of duty, get that done, because that's evidence that you got injured while in drill status. Very important.
Perfect. Well, once again, I just want to say thank you, and we appreciate everything and all the great information you gave us today. Thank you so much.
Hey, we're waiting to serve. I'm working for them. They're my boss.
Perfect. I like that.
Thank you so much, David, for everything you do. Our last interview tonight will be with Bill Resnick. Bill is the CVSO for Waushara County. Thanks for joining us, Bill.
Thanks for joining with us today, Bill. So please, can you tell me and the viewers a little bit about yourself?
Sure. My name is Bill Rosenau. I'm the Waushara County Veteran Service Officer. Real quickly, my office is staffed with 2 veterans, myself and another accredited veteran service officer. He's my assistant. Personally, I served 8 years in the United States Navy, got out for a bit, ended up serving an additional 16 years with the Army and the Army National Guard. During that period, I wore a bunch of different hats, everything from clerking to legal NCO, straight leg infantry, air assault infantry, mechanized infantry, heavy anti-armor infantry. If it had infantry attached, I basically tried it. I was involved in combat operations, both with the Navy and the Army, off the coast of Libya in the mid-'80s, and then 05-06 in Iraq, where we did convoy security. I retired with a full active retirement in 2009 and stepped right into this job as a county veteran service officer with just a little trout fishing break in the middle. My assistant, Brian, he is retired Coast Guard after 26 years. I think you just saw him in the background there. And paraphrase Warhol, this is my 15 minutes, not his, so enough about him. right. Are we going to want to start over?
Oh, no, we're fine.
Okay.
That's fine. No,
Um,
it's cool to know I was infantry in the Army too, so.
okay. Okay. Um, when you're looking at my office, you can really look at Brian and I as interchangeable. We joke about it. We call ourselves the two gingers. But because we share a passion for the job and a computer system, we truly are interchangeable. And I actually did that by design, because I'm not going to be on the planet forever, and I wanted somebody to step into my shoes. So Brian and I have been working together for the last 3 going on 4 years now. And I have no doubt he's going to be a fine replacement for me when I finally retire.
That's perfect. And it's great when you're able to work great like that together, and it definitely benefits the veterans you guys serve too. So that's awesome. Yep. So next, if you can tell me a little bit more about your county that you and Brian both work in.
Sure. As I mentioned, it's Waushara County, pretty much right in the heart of central Wisconsin. The county itself, we're very rural. Really no industry, very limited rental, almost no broadband, primarily a combination of agriculture and summer homes. So the year-round population versus the summer population offers some unique challenges. The county population at least doubles, sometimes nearly triples during the summer months. And of course, that group of veterans is far more affluent than the captive veterans here in the county. Another really interesting demographic, Wisconsin is one of the most aged populations in the nation. And Waushara County is one of the most aged populations in Wisconsin. We have a population of about 2,700 veterans in Waushara County, captive to the county. One city and 7 townships. And again, as that population increases radically during the summer months. Yeah, I think that pretty much covers that, the demographic piece.
Yeah, but perfect. So as a CVSO officer, what are some of the services that you do offer veterans?
Boy, our service is anything from the birth and death of a veteran. If a veteran has a concern, we're going to try to address it. The primary focus by statute is accessing state and federal governmental benefits. But the needs of veterans far outreach the statutes and the laws. If a veteran has a concern, if they bring it to us, we're going to try to help them address it, whether it's addressing it directly or acting as a referral agency to someone who can address it.
Awesome. That's really good. So really you're one-stop shop, try to anything you can help with, you try your best.
You bet. You bet. Yeah, it's there's a lot of governmental, a lot of non-governmental programs out there. And I've been around in the county for a little over a decade now. So knowing what the resources are in this rural community and who to point people at, pretty key.
Perfect. That kind of leads to my next question is what are some of the different organizations you may partner with in your county?
We work a lot with the local veteran service organizations. If there's a need, specifically a financial need that we cannot address directly through a governmental benefit, we really depend on the local veteran service organizations, the Veterans of Foreign Wars, the American Legion, AMVETS Riders, the auxiliaries. We partner with them quite a bit, specifically to address financial needs that can't be addressed through government means.
Perfect. And you already talked about this a little bit, but what are some of the different challenges that you guys do face in your county when it comes to helping veterans?
As a rural and relatively impoverished county, without a large employer base, you can imagine we lack a lot of resources. We have a couple of grocery stores in Wautoma, but the rest of the county is basically a food wasteland. So to fill that gap, we have some very robust food pantries. Being an agricultural community, we also have a lot of farm stands that can help fill that gap. A couple of the dollar stores, it's kind of ironic, it kind of in a water everywhere, but not a drop to drink kind of way, being agricultural, but being in a food desert, basically. We have limited mental health resources. The county government is actually probably the largest provider of mental health services for Waushara County. We have zero, zip, nada, nothing for homeless resources here within the borders of Waushara County. So to address those needs, I'm usually reaching outside of the county to usually the first stop for me is the Wisconsin Department of Veterans Affairs VORP program, the Veterans Outreach and Recovery Program. I have to reach all the way over to Fond du Lac County to interact with Center for Veterans Issues to bring in the supportive service for veterans families. Having to reach outside to get resources to address homelessness can prove to be a hurdle at times, because a homeless veteran is not the most reachable and not the most mobile. So those can offer some very unique challenges. On the other hand, and kind of ironic, because of the lack of resources, the area is not very attractive to homeless individuals. So the visibly homeless tend to be touch and goes. They come into the area, see what the resources are, and then quickly go somewhere that has actual resources that can actually assist them. But we do know, being an impoverished county, that the homeless program probably exists at a much deeper level than we see. And these are people who are couch surfing or living with relatives for a brief period of time. Very, very hard to identify until they hit a very high level of need, in which case they come in and see me and we see what we can do by reaching outside of the county. Again, I really rely on the Wisconsin Department of Veterans Affairs and the VORP program. Cal has been my go-to guy for a number of years on this front. Yeah, those would be, I would think, probably the largest challenges right there.
Okay. Wow. Well, that's really good to know. With you being in such a rural area and you're seeing that internet's not the best, what are some different ways you guys try reaching out to veterans in the community?
Well, it's I run regular articles on my website in the local papers. I have a very good relationship with the Waushara Argus and the Resorter. Anything that's coming up lands in the paper. During non-pandemic years, I make sure I get out to each of the senior centers, the meal sites, attend the Veteran Service Organization meetings, working with some local Green Lake County and Marquette County to put together a Veterans Expo to directly advertise to veterans their benefits and give them local access instantly through that venue. In that, I'm really leveraging a veterans picnic that was kicked off by the County American Legion a few years ago, and we're going to try to basically piggyback on their success because the attendance continues to grow. It's amazing to me that CVSOs have existed in Wisconsin since approximately 1932, and that every county has had one since 1946. And I still get veterans walking into my office saying, never knew you guys existed. So that outreach piece, we really need all hands on deck to advertise that we're here. And to advertise the fact that that we are veterans serving veterans. We're not some big state or federal agency that's there to protect benefits. We're local veterans who are here to help veterans get through that bureaucratic or paperwork process, and that we are here to advocate for those veterans.
Oh, that's really great. If there's a veteran who's watching this in your community who doesn't know what a CVSO is there anything you would want to tell them, tell them that could, help you or help them that you believe that they should know?
Sure, yeah. If you're not familiar with county veteran service officers, a quick primer goes something like this. We're not the VA, and there's a reason for that. Every county and every tribe in the state of Wisconsin has an office that is dedicated to assisting veterans, their dependents, and survivors. We're county or tribal employees, and we're outside of those large regulatory agencies by design. And that's so we can represent that veteran's interests without owing our allegiance to a regulatory agency that's trying to manage that benefit. Even though the state and federal governments have some great benefits for veterans, they're jealously guarded by a wall of law and statute and surrounded by a minefield of implementation policy. We're the local folks who can help throw a hook over that wall or navigate the safe path through that minefield. Even though we're not VA, we are recognized by VA's Office of General Counsel as having the background, the education, and the ability to represent a veteran's interests, even if it becomes adversarial with that state or regulatory agency. We usually do that through a representative relationship with various veteran service organizations, as I mentioned. Out here in the world, there's that membership base, which is a beneficial organization in the local community, but also feeds the lobby machine in DC. When we're talking about representation, we're acting through a very specific branch of that veteran service organization that is there to, again, represent a veteran's interests through claims actions in the VA.
Wow. Well, that's very well put. Thanks. Thank you so much, Bill. Well, the last question I have for you is, what's a great way for a veteran to get a hold of you or Brian, hold of your office?
Really simple. This office is staffed from 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Monday through Friday. Give us a call at 920-787-0446. If you don't get one of us on the phone, that's because we're with another veteran, or maybe a home visit, or in a recording session like this.
Yeah.
Please leave a message. We will get back to you. Appointments are really encouraged. That makes sure that we can dedicate the time to the veteran without taking it from another veteran. And it allows us to dedicate enough time to address the need rather than rushing a walkthrough a walk-in through the office in 5 or 10 minutes because I've got somebody else coming in. If you've got an appointment, we know we can sit down, dedicate half an hour, 45 minutes, an hour, however much time is needed to address the need.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Bill. Thanks for being here with us today with all the great information. And if there's anything we at the R&R House can do to help out too, just give us a call as well. And once again, thank you so much for being here today.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for the opportunity. I really appreciate R&R House interest and assistance in getting the word out that we're here. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Bill. Well, that's it for our event this evening. Thank you for all the veteran resources that are with us here tonight. We'll have their contact information for all the resources shown here tonight posted on our Facebook page. And remember, the R&R House is currently open for overnight guests. If you'd like to stay at the house, please call us at 262-336-9540. Thanks for being here with us. Good night.